Everybody, as pretty much anybody watching this video has probably ordered something online or purchased something at a store, there's probably been at least one point in time where in the past something you purchased was either defective or just outright, well, an epic fail. And of course, with computers and also electronics in general, there will be times to where when you order something like a component or whatever, you may receive something in the mail, or you may buy something at the store, get home and open the box and find something missing, either an accessory missing, find something broken, or what have you. But here's an example of what I would call an epic fail. An epic fail. So last week I ordered a BYEASY card reader off of Amazon. I had ordered one in the past and installed to the PortaCube system. It's a USB 3.0 3.5 inch insert that has two USB 3 ports. It has a micro SD slot, a regular SD slot, USB 3 by the way, as well as a USB Type-C port. And for the most part it worked really well. There was a little glitch with it. Sometimes if I put the computer to sleep and I brought the computer back up, the card reader would not function. I would have to actually kill power to the entire system and actually unplug the PSU to kill the 5-volt standby supply to get it to work again. But it's something that it rarely ever happens, but I mean it happens. And the other issue is the included SATA power booster, whatever you want to call it, connection. If you plug it in to your power supply, it will backfeed your computer with 5-volt standby power when your computer's off. But other than that, it worked fine. So I decided, hey, let's order a second one for the Mid-Tower Deluxe. And I got it from Amazon and I opened it. First thing I noticed was there was a capacitor popped off of the PCB. It's a surface mount capacitor. And I was thinking, oh, if it's just one capacitor, I could solder it back on, no big deal. But I started looking more and more to this thing. I'm like, there's lots of issues with soldering with this. And I noticed a second capacitor missing, a little chip capacitor missing from the board on the other side. And I'm like, okay, I'm sending this back. But yeah, guys, I got it on video and I figured to share it with you guys. It's quite an epic fail, I must say. So I returned that first card reader, and Amazon sent a replacement out the next day. I got it. It was fine. I got it installed in Mid-Tower Deluxe right now and it works fine. But yeah, I figured I'd have to share this. And this isn't exactly a knock on BYEASY, but we'll just say it. When stuff is made in China especially, you're going to find some items where you'll have defects. And I think this was simply something that mistakenly got past quality control. Again, it was, I call it a dud. But anyways, here you go. Okay, so this is what you get. And this was about 30 bucks, something like that. I think it's about $30. So let's see if anything has changed with it since I purchased the last one. No, not really. So they give you this SATA connection, and the way it's I see an issue about how the box. We got a capacitor here that was not soldered to the board. Oh my gosh. So I guess I'm gonna fix that here on video for you guys. I mean, I could return this back to Amazon, but I can solder this back on in a few minutes. Wouldn't take much to fix this. I gotta take the board out anyway because we are going to be spray painting this silver. So yeah, got a surface mount capacitor that apparently did not, well, there is a little bit of solder there. We'll get this out and get a better look. If I put that little capacitor to the side, we'll have to pop that back in place. So you can see here, it's just like the one that's in the PortaCube. You got the two USB 3 ports here, got your Type-C port there, micro SD and SD there. So Okay, so let's go ahead and take this circuit board loose from this metal piece. Just 3 screws and out it comes. And while we got it out, I think we got more problems with soldering. I'm looking at this thing and it looks like our USB ports barely even have enough solder on them at all. Alright, so if we look here at these ports, you may be able to see how they just barely have enough solder on them to remain in place. There was definitely a bit of a defect when this was being manufactured. The solder was there just wasn't enough solder, and that's why that capacitor came loose. We'll flip over to the other side in a minute and look at that. There's just not enough solder on those through-hole components. Now the surface mount stuff does not need a whole lot of solder. Like for example, the SD card slot looks okay to me. All these surface mount chips look okay to me from what I can see through the camera's LCD screen here. If I flip this over, you'll see the other side. So if we look at this capacitor here, it's not labeled as a number, it's just, you can see right here, you can see there is some solder there, but there's not a whole lot of it. There should be more. Like for example, this other capacitor looks okay. Still not a lot of solder, but then again, surface mount doesn't need a whole lot, but then again, it does need enough. So we're missing something else here. Looks like we're missing a capacitor. Yep. Yeah, capacitor. It's either a capacitor or a resistor. $30 for this, and you get this crappy of a build quality. It's just ridiculous. Gonna be returning this. So there's no loose capacitor in this box or resistor, whatever was supposed to go there. Nothing's loose in here, so it must have fell out in the factory or somewhere like that. But yeah, that's very unacceptable. Okay guys, that's pretty crazy, wasn't it? So here's the clip of me unboxing the replacement. Okay everybody, so we have our replacement BYEASY front panel. So let's see if we get 2 duds in a row. Hopefully not. So I'm cutting the original seal here. First time this has been opened since I got it. Interestingly enough, so as we can see, quite a difference here. We have this SATA cable, which of course we're not going to use. We have the USB cable, which has the internal connection right here for the motherboard. And we have mounting screws. Those were not included in the previous one, and you can see how this panel is actually enclosed in this protective bag. Makes me think that the one I received was possibly returned. I don't know for sure, because the tape on the box was identical to this. But anyways, what I did is I wrote broken on the last one, that way they can't try to resell it. So look here, the capacitors are intact. And I'm going to have to take this off here because we're going to be spray painting this chassis, but I'm actually going to take this off first just to inspect it. We'll know for sure that's good before I void my chances of returning this. Alright, so I'm looking at the bottom of this, and kind of like the previous one, soldering is kind of at a minimum, but that's something I find pretty often with surface mount construction, and in some cases through hole. And of course the SATA connection I don't really care about because we're not using that, but these two USB 3 type A ports, this SD reader, the micro SD reader, and the type C, they look okay to me. Let's get you a closer look. Alright, so there's a closer look at the PCB. You can see both capacitors are intact on this one. Flip this around. Honestly, I kind of would like to see a little more solder on this, but I mean, clearly that last one, either I'm thinking what happened is it was a dud. It slipped past quality control. For one thing, they didn't test it, and for another thing, they didn't ensure that everything was included in the box. Now, I realized after I returned the first one, I forgot to put the paper user manual back in, but really something like that is something that's not resellable. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, this one here does look better. It looks like this one is okay enough to test. So what I'll do is I may just leave it out of the chassis, just hooked in the cable to the back of this, and try it out as is. I don't even have to shut down my system to do this. I'll just take the side panel off, pop the cable in there, plug this up, and try it out. See if it works. And if it works, then we'll be good to go on spray painting this piece metallic silver to match the case. So yeah, as I mentioned, the replacement worked out perfectly well, and if you look at the card I'll insert in the video, you'll see where I installed that into the Mid-Tower Deluxe and tested it, and it worked fine. And I had to spray paint it metallic silver to match the case. But anyways, it's installed now and it works fine, but wow, that was quite an epic fail with that first one. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video from Cuckoo channel. If this is your first time, please subscribe to the channel and be sure to tick the bell so we get notified of new video posts. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, leave a comment, and share this video as well as the channel with your friends and get the word out. Also, I have a second channel, that's CubeCompMTDX. Over there you'll find videos about thunderstorms and weather, cycling, and videos about me personally. Feel free to subscribe over there as well if you like. Again, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for your support.